AI agents are everywhere, automating tasks and making decisions at machine speed. But agents make mistakes. Just one rogue agent can do big damage before you even notice. Rubrik Agent Cloud is the only platform that helps you monitor agents, set guardrails, and rewind mistakes, so you can unleash agents, not risk. Accelerate your AI transformation at Rubrik.com. That's RUBRIK.com.
This is your Chargers linebacker, Daiyan Henley, and you're tuning in with Chargers Unleashed.
Welcome to another edition of Chargers Unleashed. Jake Hefner and Daiyan Wolkenstein here with you from the LAFB Network. If this is your first time tuning in the show, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube, but also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. Happy Wednesday to everyone out there, and thank you so much for tuning in and joining us. Daiyan Wolkenstein, midweek, gearing up for the Chargers Monday Night Football matchup against the Philadelphia Eagles coming soon. But Dan, we got a lot to talk about because there has been a little bit of a fallout, even with a victory over the Las Vegas Raiders. Chargers currently sitting 8-4 in a nice position right now. But man, oh man, oh man. All the talk right now is about the most famous left hand in Los Angeles right now. We got a lot to talk about. We have voicemails coming off the Chargers victory against the Raiders. We'll obviously answer your questions as it relates to the Chargers anything that you guys would like to talk about, of course. But Daiyan Wolkenstein, happy Wednesday evening. How are you, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah, this is a jam-packed episode, jam-packed last few days for Chargers and Chargers fans. Fresh off of wasn't pretty for the first half, but second half they got it in gear. Scored 30-something, which didn't expect that to happen. 8-4. With the gauntlet ahead. And what was already a gauntlet will now be a gauntlet without a healthy Justin Herbert. And I think that is not being down. That is just the reality of it. He had surgery to repair a broken metacarpal, I believe. I'm no doctor, so don't come at me. Jake, you look like Casper, by the way, with that light. Look great.
Thank you so much.
You're
really
welcome.
Appreciate it. It's not the Halloween season anymore. I'm Irish, Scottish, and German, so I'm naturally just that pale. But Thanks so much for telling me that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
It really does a lot to boost my self-confidence.
If the lighting, not your skin, relax. But hopefully reinforcements come with Omarion Hampton, so we'll get to all that. Trevor mentioned. Trevor, I'm looking at two things at once. Jake mentioned, we got Trevor here, friend of the show. Jake mentioned the hand. I mean, that's where we all are. So before we get to all of the comments, hi, Trevor, friend of the show. Again, if you have any questions about anything Michigan or anything Jim Harbaugh, like, this is your man. He's covered him for years.
Definitely.
He told us about Q and the project that it was and what they're looking to get out of it, and here we are. Look, I think for right now, though, all things are on the table for what could be had for this Chargers team. And, you know, it's unfortunate that Justin's hand will not be 100. But, again, we saw Justin ball out pretty much in the second half, not having to do that much. But all in all, able to get this Chargers team to a victory. Would it be nice to have this gauntlet ahead of us with a healthy Justin Herbert? Absolutely. So we're not going to belabor the point too much. We'll talk about what that could look like. But there were so many good takeaways to come out of that football game. Some bad ones. And I ain't going to let that thing slip, because let's not get it twisted. That first half was not pretty. There's a lot of stuff to clean up. But Jake, Chargers 8-4. Folks in the chat, Chargers are 8-4. Let us know what you're drinking. We'll get to some of these comments and voicemails here in a sec. But I don't know, Jake. I like to start these things off by just kind of, what are your vibes like now? What, 72 hours later? Like, get the win, Justin's hand, Omarion Hampton. Like, just how are we feeling about this stretch coming up?
How are the vibes now? Because I turned the light off, changed the lighting in here. It'd take 2 seconds to just step off camera to do so. So is it much more appeasing now, Daiyan Wolkenstein?
It's a little darker. Yeah, a little darker. Darker like your soul. We're great. Yeah.
There we go. Now we're talking. Okay, so vibes 72 hours later. Yeah, it wasn't the best way that you wanted to see the Chargers start off that game, especially coming off of the bye. You had 2 scoring opportunities in the red zone. One was a turnover. One was a failed 4th down conversion. Definitely, I would have gone with a different play if I was, being honest. And it was rough, especially with the way that the Chargers actually had their first drive. You're just like, okay, yes, like that was a methodical, long, clock-eating type drive that put 7 on the board. And then you just had this period before halftime where it just looked nothing like that. The execution was bad. Obviously, Justin Herbert going out for a period of time with a hand injury didn't do you any favors. Luckily, you had a false start that actually went in your favor that saved a turnover in that first half. But I will tell you this, because one thing that we have been critical about with Greg Roman specifically is adjustments. And I felt like he made certain adjustments at halftime. Obviously, there's only so much you could do with Justin Herbert. You didn't put him under center for the majority of the game after that hand injury. And you still kept yourself honest, or you still kept the defense honest with the running game. Kamani Vidal obviously has a career day, goes off for the Chargers, comes out with a terrific long touchdown run that really started to get everything going in the second half. Jesse Minter obviously has been at work during the bye week for some of the creative things that he came up with defensively. Having Daiyan Henley set up at edge and be a little bit more committed to the run this time around. That'll be some interesting things that you hope to see start to continue as we gear up here for the next 5 weeks of the season to try to make a run towards the playoffs. Khalil Mack and Tuli Tuipulotu had a huge day individually and as a pair, however you want to just cut it with the two of them. They have just become such a great combination together. But for what you were limited to, you got the job done. And you did what you had to do. That was a must-win game. There was no reason that you should have dropped that game, and you went out and you took care of business. That's great. And maybe you hope that those little things that you encountered in the first half were like, okay, here's some just mistakes coming off the bye, because not every team is perfect off the bye. We understand that. You just didn't expect it to be that bad when you're that close to scoring in the red zone. But overall, I'll take it. Regardless if they went out there and they beat the Raiders 40-0 or what the final score ends up being, it wasn't going to really move the needle for me. That was a game that the Chargers had to win no matter what.
Yeah, the vibes are only going to go down. They were not really going to go up much.
Right. So I don't think I could put it any better than Daniel Popper did in his post-game piece, where he said, the real is now about to show itself. What's real and what's fake over these next 5 weeks as the Chargers try to make a playoff push.
Yeah. So let's get into it. So I'll be honest. Oh, actually, let me get the bad out of the way real quick.
There we go.
Because this should be a positive episode. Okay. I'm going to get the bad out real fast.
Get the bad taste out.
What was most frustrating about that game was like the Justin Herbert interception, like just bad play. I think he got tricked on it. He talked about it in the post game or in the press conference today. You thought it was going to be man or cover zero, and then ends up getting switched out. But what was frustrating to me was the coaching decisions that were impacting this team's ability to just score points in the first half. And the Justin mistake, again, like the offense was doing pretty well, all things considered, right? The Justin one, bad. You got to score points there. Like he should just throw it away or whatever. But like you live with that. It's fine. The 4th and inches, the 4th and 1, whatever that was, like if you're going to go for it, go for it. That's fine. I don't have a problem with the decision to go for it, but don't do that. Like you have run quarterback sneaks, goal line rushes all season. And I get the Justin Herbert hand injury. Like you've run quarterback sneaks with Tyler Conklin before. Like this isn't new. You've done these things. So to have that be your 4th down play call, when again, like I said this before the play even started multiple times, like just get the points. It doesn't matter. And again, it didn't matter in the end. But boy, when you're going into halftime 7-7, where you're playing that dominant and you are tied, that is the literal recipe for a losing team to win. Luckily, they righted the ship. That Kamani Vidal run at the beginning of the second half was huge. Completely changed the tenor of the game. But you can't do that stuff. You can't do that stuff against good teams. And, you know, I agree in a sense that, like, yeah, we'll see, you know, what is real, what is fake. But in a sense, because like what we've seen is also real, but we've seen is real against not as good of opponents. And will we see it consistently, right? Like you saw the Steelers, I think that was real, right? And then they got the brakes beat off of them by the Jaguars. I saw what happened with the Raiders. I think that was real, right? It's the consistency that we need to see. And like people want to call me pessimistic. That's fine. I'll take the badge. They're going to have to ball out to get any wins between now and the end of the year. The magic number for me is 2. Get to 2. But I'll say this. Say what you will about the gauntlet that is, and say what you will about how much better this offensive line could be and all the negative. Like, say what you will. If this team, against the level of competition, if we fast forward to the end of the season, and this team, as currently constructed, with the current guys that are going on IR, with a injured Justin Herbert, again, no Rashawn Slater start the season, no Joe Alt multiple times this season, no RB 1, 2, or 3. Like things have been going crazy all over the place. Like they were out Denzel Perryman for a while, they were out Elijah Molden for a while, they were out Tarheeb Still for a while. Like
Khalil Mack.
Injuries happen, right? But they have been without. Khalil Mack was on IR, right? Like, given all of that, we talked about how insanely challenging this stretch, this season was going to be. This stretch in particular. Going into the season, before knowing all of that, before the Rashawn crap, people had them. I had them at 10 wins. I think it started off at 9. I went up to 10. I had 10 wins, all things healthy. If they can get to 10 wins with this, that is a monumental win. I'm sorry, like, and I'm not talking like I don't think that there's such thing as like silver linings, right? Like that is to me, that is insane that you were able to get to 10 wins, because what that would mean is, for the most part, you beat the teams you needed to, and you should have, and then you were competitive and won a handful of those games that you were going up against folks that may be better than you. And for me, the story right now is, are the Eagles a better team than the Chargers? Yeah, I think they are. Are they going through it the last couple of weeks? Does it seem a little rough sledding for them lately? Sure. But I think they're the better team right now. Houston, I mean, that defense scares the shit out of me. I think that's a better team overall. Again, healthy. Like, we're just talking all things considered. The Chiefs are the Chiefs. The Cowboys are playing like a completely different team.
Offensively, good luck.
And defensively. Hell, either way. And the Broncos have lost 2 games all season. Mind you, barely. You're going up against some insane teams. And most of them, you will be the underdog. This is a huge stretch. But this is what you want, right? This is the exciting part. This is, I think, where the exciting stuff comes in. It's like, holy shit. This Chargers team is 8-4. We got meaningful football going on. Most teams will be glad to take your position. And you got reason to be optimistic, right? Like, Jamari Salyer is a godsend right now. Like, good Lord, thank you for bringing him back healthy. Apparently, he wasn't healthy all season. Not sure if I believe that, but that's okay. Jamari Salyer is coming back, or is back, and then proved dividends. Omarion Hampton, I hope, is coming back this week. That should be help. I don't think Justin could be worse than he was the second half of that game. Your defense is humming right now, but I've said it all along. I think this Chargers team, the way they win this down this stretch, Jesse Minter's got to earn that bag, man. Jesse Minter has to earn it. That defense has to be what we saw this past week against Steelers. No, I'm rambling. This is a tough test. No way around it. Chargers fully healthy. This is a tough test. They're up against it.
5 weeks left in the season, Dan. You already kind of feel like it's playoff vibes.
Oh, it is.
Right now. 100%. Because with the other teams that you had mentioned that the Chargers have to play against, if we're just talking about AFC opponents, being Houston, Kansas City, Denver, obviously they're in a really good position as it relates to the division right now. But in general, the AFC conference, I don't see like anybody outside of Denver and New England that looks like they're the powerhouse. And even still, with those two teams, there are some flaws. There's so many teams in contention right now that it's really starting to be bunched up there in the middle. So the margin for error is very low for what the Chargers have to deal with over these last 5 weeks. And especially if we're talking about that Houston game and that Kansas City game, those are going to be pivotal. If we're at that point and we're talking about playoff contention and seeding, you can't afford to drop many of these games. But this is what your remaining schedule is, and you don't have a choice. So you just hope that after that Jacksonville bad taste that you had to sit on for 2 weeks, and you take what you can as far as the positives that came out of that Raider game, specifically in the second half, and now you have to deal with, we'll see what ends up happening come Monday night. I believe that Justin Herbert will play, but I'm more interested to see what the play calling is going to be like. Greg Roman's going to have to get super creative. And yes, the potential return of Omarion Hampton should help that tremendously. And the way that Kamani Vidal has thrown cold water on everything as it relates to the Chargers needed to trade for Breece Hall, this, that, and the other. They needed to go out and get another running back when essentially he was running back 4. It's a huge testament to him stepping up the way he has. And I'm excited to see the 1-2 punch of Omarion Hampton and Kamani Vidal moving forward. But how are you going to operate this offense? Because essentially, depending on what, and Justin Herbert kind of alluded to it today as far as what he would be wearing, kind of said as far as like just a cast under a glove, how that's going to limit the mobility in his hand, we'll see. But that could take away things that you didn't see in the second half of the Raiders game. That could take away the bootleg. That could take away some play action. That could take away a variety of different things. And now you have to go against a pissed off Philadelphia Eagles team that just got ran over. And the Chicago Bears had 2, not 1, but 2 100-yard rushers against Philly, which does not happen in Philly. And you know how vicious that fan base is. They're egging their offensive coordinator's house right now as we speak. Like, they are pissed off over there. And yes, I know that they have had issues and struggles offensively, but the defensive front's still pretty damn good. And yeah, it's the nice takeaway to see what Jamari Sawyer did against the Raiders, but even with Max Crosby, the Raiders front ain't the Philadelphia Eagles front. This is going to be a very, very tough test come Monday night.
Yeah. Honestly, I will say some of this is a bit of therapy for me. I'm very excited for this Monday Night Football game. And I agree with you. I think Justin Herbert will play. And I do kind of like the vibes of being the one where they're injured, the underdog in this, right? Like
still primetime Herbert.
Yep. And as much as Herbert is injured, to me, this is going to sound crazy, but to me, like in games like this, in meaningful December football, January football, February football, like the miraculous quarterback stuff, like it's important, and that wins you championships every now and then. But what is, I don't want to say more or less, but what is equally important, in my opinion, is you have a damn good defense and a running game. Half the season, it feels like they've had it. Half the season, they haven't. They've had it against good playoff teams. They've had it against the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Steelers. Didn't have it against other teams.
That's what's going to have to carry you.
And so, I mean, would I be shocked at all if Justin just goes out there and absolutely slings it? No. Am I confident in that? I'm not going that far. But I do like this Chargers team usually when they've been counted out. That is more of a comfortable scenario for me than the Chargers are favored to win. Again, like, and I don't know if this is pessimistic. Jake, you tell me. Until this Chargers team wins one of these next 5, I'm not going to be confident.
It's not pessimistic. It's not pessimistic. And you could try to label that as however you want in terms of your level of confidence in the team, but it's the same thing that we were saying during the live show last week. Anybody who wants to say that we don't have faith in this team to win, that's the incorrect mindset to do it. It's based off of what you've seen thus far throughout the season. And as Dan mentioned, you've seen some inconsistency in the run game. Look at Jacksonville. You've seen inconsistencies in the defense. Look at Indy and Jacksonville. Look at Washington when you started off that game 10 points and you allowed 27 unanswered by Washington. You've seen those type of moments. The one thing that has been unfortunately consistent, even when Joe Alt was in this lineup, has been your porous offensive line that has led to number 10 being the most hit quarterback in the NFL.
And by the way, when you were watching that game against the Raiders and you saw him with one hand, and then you start to see them get after him, start to get hit, you're like, can you not?
Oh, yeah. It was dirty pool. But when you watch what this offensive line, as porous as it has been, and we'll see, obviously, you hope that whatever Jamari Sawyer is going to bring as far as the stability at left tackle is somewhat similar to what he brought back a couple years ago when he started during his rookie season, when he had to step in for Rashawn Slater during that season-ending injury. But when you can look at a team like Tennessee, who wasn't playing Jeffrey Simmons and didn't have Arden Key, and they still sacked and hit Justin Herbert a number of times during that game. I don't care who the defensive line is that you put in front of this Chargers offensive line, until they prove consistently that they can figure out a way to protect Justin Herbert. And again, it's not all on the offensive linemen, it's on the coaches as well. But until that they can prove that they can do that, I don't care what defensive line that you put in front of this team. Somebody's going to eat. Somebody's going to figure it out, because they have figured out how to pass rush and hit and get to Justin Herbert since Denver in week 3. And that has not changed. And until that portion changes, that gives you confidence. The offensive line has been the Achilles heel of this football team for weeks and weeks and weeks. It is no longer an aberration. It has become a week-by-week trend that you're just hoping to see little by little improvements on. So if the Raider game was a start, you need to build off of that.
I'm hoping for less sleepless nights for Justin and team. I'm hoping for the love of God, can we please see Will Dissly? I don't care if he catches 0 passes all game.
I still don't understand
like
that
this,
decision.
In a game like this, man. Anyways, Jake, before we get any further, before we get to these voicemails, let's talk about a friends over sleeper.
All right. Dan, how'd you sleep last night? Did you sleep all right?
Not great, Bob. Not
Good.
great.
Great. Wonderful. Well, the NFL season is here for those of you who can't sleep and are excited about it, which means you now have a chance to win up to 1,000 times your cash on daily fantasy football with Sleeper. Football has never been more exciting than it is right now with players like Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert. Pick on these stats for these stars like touchdowns, passing yards, receiving yards, fantasy points, and more for up to 1,000 times payout on Sleeper. Get your picks right and you can win big. Just use the promo code ChargersLAFB and you can get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper terms of use for details. Currently operating in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today.
All right, Jake, let's get some of the voicemails from last week's victory. Again, FTR, nothing but respect. Chargers trounce in the end. Basically, they had 30 minutes of great football and smoked them. 323-902-7586 is the number to the number. Is the number to the number? Wow.
Number to the number.
Jeez. The number to the hotline. First voicemail. Let's hear what they have to say.
Hi, guys. Mike in Missouri on the road again. Just got the final on the Raiders game. Just what the doctor ordered. I didn't get to watch it. Heard the dirty hit and then somebody's hand. I don't know.
Somebody's hand. Just so happens to be the most important hand.
And Omarion Hampton, come on back, buddy. Let's keep going. Listen to you guys' live show today. It was good. And appreciate you guys. All right. We'll talk again. See you later. Bye.
This game, post-game Sunday, when we did our late live show prior to kickoff, just a few hours before. Yeah, there was a hand issue. early in the game.
Ho-hum.
In case you haven't heard. Yeah, Dan. What'd you think about that Max Crosby little push and shove moment?
I thought it was two guys who knew what they were doing. Honestly, I don't blame Max Crosby for it. I understand why Max would do it. You know, I don't think he was doing anything crazy, dirty, and Justin sold it for sure. But Justin also knew what he was doing. Right? Both those guys aren't stupid. I think both of them, and they both said as much, got respect for each other. I don't think that was anything, to be honest. The other bullshit was bullshit. You can't tell me that is just football.
No.
And there's Raider fans in my comments talking to me about it. There's Dolphins fans in my comments telling me it's just football and quit being a sissy. You can't tell me that stuff is normal and that stuff is above the bar. There were 2 plays, and I'm sure there are more, but there were 2 plays. Daniel Popper showed one. I quote tweeted with another one. Sure looked like those guys were hunting for him. And were hunting for an appendage.
Look, when you piss off enough people where Sanjay Lal is starting to walk out on the field, you've done something. You've done something.
That's all I'm saying. Next voicemail, Jake. Let's get some of these real quick before we get some of the takeaways from this last game. Next voicemail.
Hey, Dan. Hey, Jake. It's Nicholas calling again. I hope you can get my voicemail on the show.
I don't think we got it.
I can't hear it. It's unfortunate we didn't get it. It's too far away. Change your volume. You really need to turn it up more because these old ears at 40 years old can't hear a damn thing.
I'll feel like I did the woofer. I'm in the woofer.
Right.
clean up on all three. My eardrums are all over the place.
Right now, Athir is saying, hey, that's normally the decibel level that I am at. Stop taking my act.
Ow!
But continue. We're going to get through this.
Hello, K9. Can you hear me? Oh, no. Okay, let's keep this thing rolling.
So I was seeing things, comments, posts on Twitter about, oh, Herbert's just going to be the new Andrew Luck. Oh, he's turning into the new Andrew Luck. He gets hurt. So, and I brushed it off. I didn't take it seriously.
I feel there's a butt coming.
But
now I see all the Herbert injuries the past 5 years.
go on.
Cartilage, ribs, sprained ankle, broken finger, broken bone, every year. This is crazy. I didn't take it seriously, but I'm starting to take it seriously. I mean, I remember Andrew Luck said, I got so many injuries, I made so much money. I mean, Herbert's already made $40 million in the league, $50 million. So tell me what the difference is between Andrew Luck and Herbert. Were Andrew Luck's injuries worse? Thanks, guys.
Okay, now I get with the headphones fully back on. I thought they were having this comparison between Andrew Luck. I thought they were doing this between Andrew Luck and Joe Burrow.
He was talking through a megaphone.
Talking through the megaphone. But I remember them having this talk about the comparisons for Andrew Luck and Joe Burrow when Joe Burrow went down for the beginning of this season. That's what I remember. I mean, the differences between Justin Herbert and Andrew Luck, well, there's a lot of toughness behind number 10. That's for damn sure. I mean, the rib injury that he never missed a game on, that was something. When you just saw the way that he was still even getting destroyed, the fact that he never missed time after that. It is really incredible. The dude is just a monster. Now, of course, you never want to see your quarterback get hit this much, which
stop. Yep.
You're not going to make, and this is me having confidence, Joe Ortiz is not going to make the same mistake that he did this offseason. And you are going to see a much bigger push on day one of free agency to shore up this offensive line. And he will couple that and double down on it with an offensive lineman selection in the draft. You had your choice to do it after the Houston game. You made your bed, you slept in it, now you've seen where it's gotten your quarterback. You will not make that same mistake twice. And I have faith because the last name of this GM is Ortiz and not Telesco. So let's move on. That's how you do it. You protect your quarterback at all cost. It's fitting that you get to hear Nick Wright talk about offensive line issues for the Chiefs when he decided to throw criticism at Justin Herbert, that it didn't matter who his offensive linemen were to determine what his status was. Offensive line are what you need. Look at the Bears, for God's sakes. They went all in free agency, and their interior three is arguably the best in the NFL. Where normally that title would remain with the Chiefs, and this year it's been the Bears. And sometimes, free agency is not a guaranteed win every time. The Chargers have seen that. We've seen Tom Telesco when he spent money and literally got zero returns on any of his big free agent signings. But there's no way in hell with the Chargers cap space that they have going into next year that you make that same mistake.
Shout out to Google AI. It's Gemini. I'm not sure what it is. According to this, the variety of injuries that he went through, he being Andrew Luck, lacerated kidney, partially torn abdominal muscle, torn labrum in his throwing shoulder, and recurring calf and ankle injury. Those don't sound great. On top of that, he's had concussion, torn cartilage and ribs, AC joint sprains, and a thumb injury.
I mean, good God, man. Nobody wants that for their quarterback.
No. And
even still, everybody was still shocked when he retired.
Right?
It's like, what are you talking about? Don't you have 9 more injuries to go through in your professional career? Jeez.
The crazy part about Justin's injuries is so many of them are fluke, man. Like Edward Scissorhands with injuries on both of his hands last year, right? The one last week, I don't even know where it happened. Like they said it may have happened when it hit a helmet. Like I still don't know. I haven't seen it. Like the rib cartilage thing, like that was rough. That was insane. The ankle thing, like the preseason or what training camp last year, like these are all like fluke things. These aren't like, I'm not even going to speak the things that have happened to other quarterbacks, but like it's a little different. And of course, right? Like, of course, this would happen against the Raiders, right? Like they probably would have won with Trey Lance plan. And that's not exaggerating. They probably would have won.
Here's the shitty part, Dan, is that the hand injury that he suffered, you can't even blame it on the offensive line.
That's what I'm saying.
It was just one of those, like, of all, it's Justin Herbert out on a quarterback run, and the way that he hits the defender's helmet causes the break. It's just like, what are you going to do? There's nothing that you can defend for that, something like that. It's insane.
All right, let's get into some of the fun stuff. 35 minutes in. Kamani Vidal, have a day.
Ooh.
He's shutting up a lot of haters and shutting up a lot of the folks who said that he can't run. He said he should not be on this roster. He said that he is not a starting running back. He said they need to go out and trade for one. Like all of those people, awfully quiet now. And I would argue that was the best Kamani Vidal game we've seen this season. And I don't think it's close. Like the 59-yard run was awesome. And there were like shades of other players I'm not going to name because I'm not comparing, where I'm like, ooh, that looked like a Hall of Famer that I remember seeing. I'm not saying Kamani Vidal is a Hall of Famer. I'm just saying he had moves that I didn't know he had it in him. He ran away from folks once he got to the outside, unlike some folks that we saw a few years back. We saw him absolutely truck dudes on the sidelines to get the additional yardage, tough physical first downs that no one thought they were going to be getting. It seemed like Greg Roman was just throwing in the white towel for a couple drives there, and Kamani Vidal was like, nope, we're going to keep this drive going with Trey Lance and company. Kamani Vidal had a day, and it's impressive to now talk about, imagine him being RB2 behind Omarion Hampton. I mean, 25 carries, $126 a touchdown. It's over 6 yards a carry. Not too bad. Reception for 11 yards. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. They're bringing Royce Freeman as well. I think that was just because of the roster spot, because Jared Patterson came up. Kamani Vidal had a day, man. And you mentioned it earlier at the top, but like, if they didn't have Kamani Vidal, like, what would this team look like right now?
I mean, think about this. You've lost Najee Harris, Omarion Hampton, Hassan Haskins. At one point in time during a game, Jacksonville, Kamani Vidal wasn't playing. You were literally on your practice squad running backs. That's how depleted this portion of your football team was or has been.
It still is currently.
And for a little dude from Rutgers to come in and take the flag and run with it and say...
Troy, right? Wait. He's Troy, right?
It was Rutgers.
Kamani Vidal?
Yeah.
Bet me.
Is it Troy? Did I fuck it up?
Of all people!
Yeah, I fucked it up, didn't I?
You did, but go ahead.
All
right. You deserve a pass.
Everybody can flame me in the comments. It's from Troy. Sorry about that. Little guy from Troy.
There we
go.
To
come in and take the flag and do what he has done. And again, he's had some inconsistent weeks. No question. But when he's had good weeks, man, has he been on. And it's not just from the standpoint of what he's done running the football. It's in his pass blocking as well, Dan. He has been a very, very willing pass blocker.
And that's been what's kept him off the field last year. Has been that.
So
Alan asks, do you guys think we should throw our hat in the ring for Darius Slay? No. He went to the Bills, I believe, today.
Which, funny, because as we were in the middle of this show, they were saying that the Eagles came this close to getting him back because they put in a waiver claim on Darius Slay, but Buffalo had the higher priority.
Good for them.
Crazy.
Man, Kamani Vidal has been one of the, I don't even want to call it unsung, just one of the heroes and one of the saviors of this season for this team. When you have a Greg Roman, Jim Harbaugh offense down 3 running backs and 2 tackles, you're starting offense to tackle 6 and 7 at some points. That's tough sledding.
Not bad for a 6th-round pick to step up that way.
Yeah. I mean, Alan says in the comments, we wouldn't have won 8 games without Vidal, period.
No.
I don't know if you win half those without him. I don't know about you guys, but there were some hands that I saw from a one Quentin Johnston. And he's quietly putting together some consistent strings here. I'm not going to go too far. It's a week-to-week game, week-to-week league. All 3 of his catches, I think he had 3, were pretty damn good. The one for the touchdown where he grabs it, crossing, trucks the 2 dudes at the goal line, walks in for the touchdown. Looked great. And yeah, three catches, 23 yards. All 3 of those were hands. I think you heard mic'd up Keenan Allen even give him props for one of the catches. Like, whoa, dude, nice. You'll take it. And you're starting to see more and more confidence from him and from other individuals to him.
It was the finish on that touchdown catch as well, Dan. To go that extra 5 yards and just bully himself into the end zone.
Yep. 100%. And when we're talking hands, dude, there are some players in this league that are just unicorns, and Brock Bowers is one of them.
Oh,
Tony Reyes. Brock Bowers, one-handed catch was sick. Nobody in that stadium or watching that game thought that ball was going anywhere but the ground.
I thought it hit the ground. I'm like, what are they talking about? You watch that in real time. It looked like it was going down and that it was going to be an incomplete pass. And it's the way that he catches and turns around. It's like, yeah, I caught it. Like, no, he didn't. And then you watch the replay and you're like, holy shit, what a catch.
And those types of plays, though, there's nothing you can do. You just tip your cap. Like, it sucks that it happened. The defense looked great against it. But when you get freak athletes like that can make freak plays, there's nobody in the world that was going to get that ball other than him. That was insane. But props to the Chargers social media team, or the media team, I should say, putting out whatever it was, a 45-minute long 3rd and Keenan video. Did you see that, Jake?
Yeah.
Man.
It was like the video that we didn't need, but we deserved.
Literally this morning, I was like, you know what? F it. I'll watch this while my kids sleep on my arms. Why not? Every one of them was like, yeah. I remember that one. Do you remember the one, as soon as I saw it, the one where he hurdled the Broncos guy?
Dude, his rookie season, man.
That
was just, I remember exactly still where I was to this day watching that game. It was at a Buffalo Wild Wings in Irvine, California. And I was dating a Broncos fan at that point in time. And honestly, it was great to laugh and point my finger in the face when I saw that happen. Epic.
And then what you saw with Keenan in that game against the Raiders. I mean, first off, Keenan against the Raiders, like, just book it. I mean, he talks that trash. It's amazing. He loves going up against Raiders. But he was automatic, dude. Absolutely automatic, to the point where you can't imagine this team not having him for a year. It just feels so weird. It feels so normal for him to just be going off. And the types of that one throw that Justin made to him where I'm like, that's a pick. Where there were like 4 Raiders dudes. Somehow
I thought it was going to be an interception too.
I still don't know how he got that. But Keenan's just cool with it, man. I'll never forget at the soccer stadium, went with the Bills buddy of mine, Bills fan. Keenan went for like 13 catches, like $170. And like even he was like screaming every time the offense was on, Keenan is open in the slot. Nobody heard him. Just pissed off the whole time.
Heard him.
You saw hands from Keenan, from Ladd, from Gadsden with a sweet grab up top, down the seams, from Quentin. guys are contributing. And this is what you and I talked about, Jacob. This is, I think, an important point. We know how bad this offensive line has been at times, and we know how susceptible they are to the stunts and to all
That's
of the
a kind
things.
word.
Yes, I was trying to be kind.
Susceptible is a kind word.
But I said it before the season started. If you don't got the line, you sure as hell better have the weapons. And maybe for the first time in his career, Justin Herbert has the weapons that could overcome some of those offensive line woes. He has never had this complement of weapons before. And he's getting a big piece back. And he just got Jamari Sawyer back, who, aside from the two starters that are all pro level, he's probably the next best option. So if it's Bobby Hart or Trey Pipkins on the right side, I'm not sure, but you bring in Jamari Sawyer, you bring in Omarion Hampton back to complement Tre Harris. KLS hasn't even been seen. You got Quentin Johnston, you've got Omarion Hampton in theory. You've got Keenan Allen, you got Ladd McConkey, Oronde Gadsden now going crazy. Like, that's a lot to where you can, if you can get guys open quickly, which you've got guys who can get open quickly, and you can win one-on-one, you'll take that, man. And don't look down, but add those dudes. Give me Tre Harris blocking out front for you, doing the dirty work.
Sir.
Bring in more Will Dissly, please, especially against this Eagles team.
I don't know if it's going to happen. That's a pretty strong statement to say last week that Will Dissly is going to remain a healthy inactive unless there's an injury that takes place.
An injury took place.
I mean, you and I do not disagree. I don't understand still, even after that announcement with the offensive line the way it is right now, that you do not bring in your best blocking tight end. That is still just absurd to me. And if we are going to lean more heavy now, especially with the hand injury to Justin Herbert and with Omarion Hampton coming back, we love what we've seen from that jumbo package where you bring in Matlock and Fisk. Why would you not go 3 tight ends and put an even bigger package that's out there? It's just me. I don't think that I'm in the minority here, but Will Dissly, to me, having 0 catches and blocking his ass off would still be more valuable than Tyler Conklin with 0 catches.
I mean, Tyler Conklin has the quarterback sneak package. That we've seen that. Otherwise, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Yes, Tucker Fisk in the mentions too. Agreed. Love Tucker Fisk. Man. Like, to me, like, just go all in. If you want to be that big bully team, like, be the big bully team. Like, tell me, I don't know in what world Tyler Conklin brings more to this team than Will Dissly right now, given Oronde Gadsden's on the team, right? Like, anyways, guys who deserve their flowers. There's a laundry list of them. Daiyan Johnson's up there at the top of them right now. Like, he's shutting a lot of dudes up. He's been pretty solid. He has been arguably the most consistent offensive lineman this Chargers team has had this year, period. And I don't know. Where are you at, Jake? Do you think they should resign him? I think they do.
Remember, I've had this conversation. If we're just talking about guys that you bring back, he's probably the one that you make the best case for. It's not a monument
of offensive line.
I mean, my God, your interior guys.
Oh,
Mekhi Becton looks to be on his way out. I personally wouldn't bring back Bradley Bozeman, but if you're wanting to keep some consistency of who you start building a new line around with Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt as your bookends, then yes, I mean, Daiyan Johnson makes sense. But I will keep it real. I don't think it's been an astronomical margin that he has outplayed everyone by a huge degree to earn that second contract. If it's more from a standpoint of to say, okay, let's take what we got this year, let's build off that, and just from the standpoint of bodies that you need and of what you have, yeah, I'd say that you start there.
A couple other names. I mean, we haven't talked much about the defense, but let's talk about it for a second. Got to give Tuli his props, man.
Oh, man.
This is a big season for him, coming out of the shadow of Joey Bosa stuff and ho-hum, 10 sacks with 5 games left.
The best thing about Tuli, and this was the biggest question about him going into the season, we knew what he could do as far as getting after the quarterback. That was no question.
The motor was never the question.
I'm excited as hell to see the fact that he is at 10 sacks at this point of the year. But the biggest question was, say what you will about Joey Bosa. When he was healthy, he was still one of the best edge centers that was in the league. That was one of the biggest things that Tuli had to answer for. How do you elevate that part of his game? And to have 3 separate drives by the Raiders single-handedly be ended by Tuli on Sunday, whether it was by the run stopping or getting after Geno Smith, it was just awesome to see that. And yes, Khalil Mack and Odafe Owe have definitely played parts in that. But him as an individual has grown so well in terms of answering this bell, even during the time when Khalil Mack was out. And literally the only pass rush option that you had was Tuli. He still did what he needed to do. He did his job. And I have loved watching the growth and development of him this year. It's been awesome to watch.
Tuli was a madman. Khalil Mack was a madman. Unk himself, Tony Jefferson, with probably the interception of the year for the Chargers, for sure. Elijah Molden going crazy, absolutely trucking. I forget who the receiver was. I think it was the rookie. Defensive front as a whole, you saw a Boygby doing his thing, Tyler Tart doing his thing, Denzel Perriman still trucking dudes. Like, the defense was pretty on, man. Like, there's not really much you can say negatively about the defense. Were there any more guys on defense that stood out to you? Dante Jackson has been a stud. Shout out to the assist that he gave Tony Jefferson, by the way, on the interception. People were clouding this Chargers team for bringing him in, and the dude's just a ball hawk, man.
I think that we can finally understand when we're talking about Jesse Minter's scheme fit for as long as he is going to be the defensive coordinator for this team. Dante Jackson and Benjamin St-Juste were brought in specifically because of their success in zone defense. And nobody runs zone pretty much more than the Chargers. Now, you look at the Raiders game, that was a little bit of a different type of scenario than Jesse Minter is used to doing because he blitzed a little bit more than he normally does. Obviously, the wrinkle with Daiyan Henley, bringing him as an edge rusher to put more commitment towards the run, which honestly I'm fine with because the Chargers have been very susceptible against allowing explosive runs like that. We've seen it throughout this season. So I'm glad to see that in terms of what the bye did, that you see some of those changes in there. And again, when you can get a lead as an offense, that's just going to make Jesse Minter open up the playbook that much more and get that much more creative with what he can do defensively. You saw the way that Derwin James came off the edge, which is like, ho-hum, okay, yes, we know that that's what he's capable of. That is like vintage Derwin James. But it's kind of the bigger picture of where I was going with this conversation is starting back to when you were talking about the weapons for Justin Herbert, Dan. This is the point in time where the guys that we don't talk about that much are going to be the ones that need to step up to make a difference in these last 5 weeks. When we can go back just a couple weeks to RJ Mickens making plays, or you talk about the Dante Jacksons and the Benjamin St-Juste and the Tony Jefferson, literally just whenever the guy's active, the guy ends up coming in and making plays. The way that Tuli has stepped up defensively.
Jarrett Patterson, of all people.
Jarrett Patterson stepping in just to give Kamani Vidal a break and still end up rattling off some really tough runs. The way that you're seeing this wide receiver and tight end group.
A Boygby.
Yes. Just teams of Chargers past don't get that type of production from those players.
It's always the underbelly that has been the Achilles heel of this Chargers team. Like,
And
once
now
their
the
guys get
underbelly
injured,
has been lifted.
Feels good. Honestly, it feels real good to see that. Let's see. He's only 23, by the way. Because remember, I think he was the youngest player in the draft when he came in. I mean, that checkbook's going to get open more and more if they keep waiting. I think that extension is going to be coming pretty soon. We'll see. Let's see. We need flu game Henley back. Yeah, that sounds great. Abdullah, I agree. I'm down for that. Well, we need to get sick first. Apparently, that's when he plays his best. Man. Roland says, we now have 3 running backs that can act as a 3-headed monster to keep legs fresh throughout the game. I'm assuming this is with Royce Freeman.
No, Hassan Haskins' practice window was officially open. He was at practice today. We don't know for certain whether or not he's going to be active for Monday Night Football, but I'll say, it'd be nice.
Give me anyone. That's fine.
It'd be nice. Not just from having someone else in there to run the football, because we've seen Hassan Haskins run. He can run strong, but also from a special team standpoint as well.
What do you make of the performance of Bradley Bozeman?
That it was his best game of the season, however you want to chalk that up as.
Yeah, like do I think that is correct? Probably. But do I think that's saying much?
It's not saying much.
Probably not.
Again, if he would love it if he could play the Raiders every single week. Unfortunately for him, he doesn't get to make the schedule, and neither do we. So, again, collectively, as I was saying, is Chargers beating the Raiders, it doesn't really do much to move the needle for me, especially when you're looking at the opponents of the last 5 weeks. So, enjoy the moral victory. I guess is the best way to say it, however you want to chalk it up. We'll see what happens over the next 5 weeks, because as much as I've been pounding the table for it, it doesn't look like any change is coming, and it won't happen until after the season concludes. So Bradley Bozeman is going to be the center moving forward.
I think that the larger story on the offensive line performance, like, clearly was the Jamari Sawyer performance. But do you know no offensive lineman scored lower than a 62.4 last week? And again, I know it's against the Raiders, but like, the Raiders also got Max Crosby, and that's including the Max Crosby wreckage that he was doing. But that's not a bad defensive front. You saw 82.6 from Bradley Bozeman. Zion had an 81.5 pass blocking grade. Jamari Sawyer, 72.2. Mekhi Becton, 67.6. All those guys in the green. And Trey Pipkins at 62. We were seeing numbers in the 30s earlier in the season. Hell, last week or 2 weeks ago. So they had every one of them. Every one of them in the 60s is pretty good. We'll see against the Eagles Monday night, right? Like, we'll see. But that, to me, was the bigger story. Like, for the most part, the offensive line played pretty good. And you want to poo-poo the Raiders? Sure. But, like, their defensive front isn't the problem for that team, in my opinion. But I'll tell you this, man. Props to Ashton Genty. I mean, that dude is a freak. And yeah, the box scores don't tell the full story, but like, that dude, like, he was making dudes miss every single time. Now, unfortunately, there were 3-4 guys after the first guy, but if they had some dudes who can block, he's going to be a problem. I'm a little nervous for this game, for the upcoming game, for the Eagles Chargers Monday Night Football game. I'll be there.
Should be.
I'll be there.
Same here.
I sure as hell hope that Chargers fans show up. We've seen moments where opposing fans flood it. Now, I forget which game it was, but it was maybe 3 weeks ago. Maybe the Steelers game, when it just got overrun. And clearly, lots of Chargers fans sold their tickets to Steelers fans. let's do them a solid, right? Like, let's do our best. For what it's worth, for the folks that listen to Chargers Unleashed or are watching us stupid knuckleheads, if you're going to go to a game this year, go to this one. Go to this one. Like, get that team juiced up. I'm calling for Chargers fans, go to this one. It's supposed to be a pretty banger from start to finish, even before game. I think there's like pregame stuff going on with some folks with music. But like, you're starting to see a trend, right? The Chargers fan base is kind of coming more and more into it. And like, this is one of those moments again. This is like a season defining. I think it's like a 30% swing in playoff chances if they win or lose this game. Goes from like, 46 to 75 or something like that. I really hope the Chargers fans show up to this one. I'm nervous that they won't, but that's just because of history. And Eagles travel well. But I'm hoping that I don't know, man. I must have to imagine the euphoria thing. Fuck it. Imagine the euphoria, Jake. If this Chargers team ends up 9-4. Like, the vibes will be immaculate. Again, I said the needle doesn't move for me until they win one of these next 5. Because they got to get to 10, and you can't get 10 before you get to 9. If they win against Philly, which we'll talk about that later in the week, but what would that do for you?
It'll definitely be a confidence boost, 100% of everything that you have seen up until this point for the Chargers team. And what we just had to witness 2 weeks ago against let's call it what it is, a less talented team than what Philadelphia is in Jacksonville. And you saw what they did to you. And again, we go back to this whole inconsistency talk. Right now, for me, the playoffs start. I know it's not necessarily the playoffs, and it doesn't mean that a loss eliminates you. And I'm not saying that the Chargers are going to win out.
No.
But everything about this Monday night football matchup has playoff vibes.
Yep. For both teams.
And you look at everything, and obviously the biggest question mark for everybody for these last few weeks, Charger fans including everybody else who perceives this team, has been this offensive line. And say what you will about the Eagles' problems, that defensive front is still nasty and can still get after the quarterback. So how are you going to contend with that? And Philly's offense, despite its struggles, is still extremely talented. With A.J. Brown, with Devonta Smith, even with Saquon Barkley having a much worse year than what he was last year.
Careful. Every time we talk about
I get it.
Every time. No, I'm saying just careful for everyone saying, "Oh, Saquon's not great this year." Every time there's that thing,
you can't take
the charge of the team.
Don't underestimate it whatsoever, because the Chargers can be that team to reignite for crying out loud. They let Rex Burkhead of all people run all over them.
Gunnar
a couple years
Olszewski.
ago. Good God, like
I'll
we've
never
seen
forget
these
Gunnar
people.
Olszewski.
It's terrible. So
And
it has so much playoff vibes. And especially now with everybody saying that Herbert's not going to be able to do anything because his non-throwing hand is injured.
Which I don't buy. Like I think Herbert will be fine.
I don't buy it either. What still makes this palpable, Dan? What has Justin Herbert done in primetime games this year? Kansas City.
He goes nuclear.
Minnesota. Pittsburgh. Even the Raiders game on Monday Night Football. He's undefeated so far in primetime. I don't care. Left hand injury, 6 to 8 weeks recovery. I don't give a damn. Justin Herbert is just that type of a guy. And yes, you're going to have to tailor some things offensively to take a little bit off the load of his shoulders. And thank God the timing could not be better for Omarion Hampton to be coming back for this game.
According to
Jim
AI,
Harbaugh hasn't. I know that Jim Harbaugh has not officially said it yet, but when does Jim Harbaugh ever give us really any indications of anything? Let's just be honest about it. I fully expect Omarion Hampton to be active for this game. There are elements that we have gone through, discussions as a team, as a fan base, where this is the game that nobody is expecting the Chargers to win. Hell, when Adam Rank is the only analyst out there that is picking the Chargers, again, the Eagles are pissed off for what Chicago did to them last week. They got embarrassed. And now they've got to go on the road against a team that, in terms of playoffs, is playing for just as much as they are right now.
The key to success for a Chargers and Justin Herbert, but more so Greg Roman and Jim Harbaugh team right now, with or without the hand injury, is to run the ball effectively. I saw the stat. Abdullah said we're 17-1. I heard it on the broadcast. Something like 17-1 when they run the ball more than 25 times. Now, again, in order to do that, you have to be able to be in the game and not be down.
Have to execute properly in the running game as well. You actually have to be able to run the ball.
Yes, and you have to execute passing in order to get to the run. Like, it goes both ways. But if the Chargers team can run the ball and not be down and start off, like if they could get out to a lead early, get a touchdown to start, go up 3-0, whatever. That's when the run game is successful. That's when the physicality enters. Jake, real quick, we've talked about a brunt of this now for an hour plus. We have not talked about what might be the most shocking thing that I saw so far this season. Was the special teams for this Chargers team actually balled out. That was the best grade they got all season. I saw Darius Davis return things that I haven't seen in, a year and a half?
A while.
But Jake, real quick, before we wrap this thing, let's talk about our friends over at Brunt.
How about we pass that one down? How about we pass on that one?
Okay, are we too late? Fine. Wow. Abdullah says that the Adam Rank pick scares me.
It scares me too, honestly, because it's basically just the opposite. Anytime that Rank picks the opposing team for the Chargers win. So him selecting the Chargers is like, thanks a lot for the death curse, buddy. Appreciate you very much. But again, that's the weird confidence that's out there in terms of what people are thinking of the team, that he's the only one that happens to be picking them. Everybody would rather have Maurice Jones-Drew pick the Chargers right now than Adam Rank.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Jake, we went through a bunch here. We talked about some of the key performers. We went through all the stars. We talked about Tre Harris. We talked about Tuli, Khalil Mack, T.R. Tart, Tony Jefferson, all the receivers, clearly Justin's hand. Kamana Vidal went off. Keenan's a third down machine. Talked about some of the woes in that first half. Coaching specifically is what got me the most frustrated, some of those decisions. But they did what they were supposed to do. Were there anybody else on this roster that was like an unsung hero that we have not talked about in that game?
I don't think so. I think we did enough I think we ran the gamut in terms of covering everything. I know this is kind of a little bit of a mix between a recap of the Raiders game while also giving a light preview to what's in store for the Eagles. And trust me, we'll have our full breakdown for that later this week as we get closer to Monday Night Football. But in general, you take the wins of that second half and you try to build off of that. You've got guys that are coming back, specifically in the run game, in Omarion Hampton for Monday Night Football. Coaching-wise, how do you scheme it for Justin Herbert? If you heard Justin Herbert's comments today in the press conference, he had talked about doesn't necessarily need to practice at all this week to end up starting on Monday. So don't read too much into that if you don't hear about Justin Herbert practicing Thursday or Friday. Would it be nice? Sure. But according to him, it's dependent on the swelling.
None of that matters, honestly. I don't expect him to.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He's still going to play Monday Night Football. I'm just so interested to see not only how he performs, but how is this coaching staff and this offensive line going to protect him? We've talked about it for weeks, Dan. Scheming up those quick passes, but that's more feasible when you're taking plays from under center, which I just don't know if that's even going to be in the playbook at all. Justin Herbert didn't take a single snap under center after hurting his hand against the Raiders.
Yeah, we'll get to that stuff next week.
With a limited playbook, it's weird. As much as I'm talking about things being limited here, the Chargers not having this, not having that, doesn't it just smell like they're going to be ready for Monday Night Football? Because it does to me.
But we said it with Jaguars game. So, like, again, until they win one of these, until they beat Jacksonville, until they beat this team and the Eagles, until they beat Houston, until they, like, I got to see it. So we'll get to all the preview and all that stuff later. Jake, one more voicemail. Don't want to keep anybody out of here. Last voicemail.
Let's fucking go. Fuck the Raiders. FTR. Fuck Max Crosby. He's a little bitch. I mean, he's a good-ass player, but he's a little bitch.
Just had to bring it back to give him a little bit of respect for a split second. He's a good-ass player.
We're pushing Justin Herbert. Man, we needed that win. We needed that run game to come alive like it did. Sawyer looked great at left tackle. Pipkins not so great, but hey, I'll take the dub. Easy dub. 2 more games away from sweeping the AFC West. Let's go.
Could you imagine 6-0 though? That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy.
I'm not trying to foreshadow anything because there's a long road before we even get there. But as Dan likes to say, and he said it earlier, imagine, Dan, that last game in Denver actually means something.
For both teams.
Yes. Wouldn't that be something if we got that far and it actually meant something for both teams?
It would also be, I saw someone post this earlier, and it would actually really be kind of poetic. Like, imagine if it only meant something to the Chargers and the Broncos were able to rest all their dudes, knowing that if the Chargers win, the Chiefs miss the playoffs. Oh, that would be excellent. That would be so great.
That's some poetic justice right there, isn't it?
So great.
That's funny.
Damn. Well, Jake, I think that's it. We got through a ton here. Again, we'll be getting to more as we get to the preview show. We'll get to the bold predictions, and we'll get to some voicemails. If you have thoughts or questions or more bold predictions or takes about this Monday Night Football game coming up, again, you know the number 323-902-7586 is the number to the hotline. Again, 323-902-7586. Give us a call. We will play your voicemail ahead of the Eagles Monday Night Football game. I'm hoping to get there crazy early on Monday because I'm going to go. I'm going to be there tailgating. I'll be there having some fun. So maybe Jake and I can do something while we're there. It'd be kind of funny.
Oh, that'd be fun.
But anything else, Jake? I'm starving, dude.
Same. I haven't had dinner yet, but I appreciate everyone that has or has been having dinner while they're watching the show tonight. Again, really appreciate you guys jumping on a Wednesday. 342 of you guys in here right now. It's absolutely insane. You guys are crazy and love these live show type of formats to answer your questions as always. Really looking forward to the Philadelphia Eagles preview matchup that we'll have for Monday Night Football coming up later this week. And as Dan mentioned, if we are able to, we're going to try to get creative when we are in the parking lot of SoFi for Monday Night Football because the atmosphere there, playoff vibes. Let's go.
It's going to be fun. For Jake, I'm Dan. This is Chargers Unleashed. Thank you all for tuning in. Again, if you haven't done so already, do us a favor. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Tell a friend. Tell someone that he doesn't know about football. Be like, hey, check out these Chargers dudes. They're funny looking sometimes. But hey, appreciate all. Most of the times they have Casper skin until they turn the light off. For Jake, I'm Dan. This is Chargers Unleashed.
Terrible.
Appreciate all of you. We'll talk to you later in the week as we preview Monday night prime time against the Eagles. Enjoy the evening, and we will talk soon.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.